Hi, welcome back to That Dad Guy. So today's video is going to be from a suggestion from one of my subscribers. Her name's Leslie. She's in Illinois in the United States, and she sent me a message asking if I'd ever heard of this topic before. I hadn't, so I researched it, and hopefully you'll find it just as interesting. But before I get to that, I want to say thank you so much for all of you who are subscribing, liking, and commenting. You're just growing the channel. I appreciate it. It means a lot to me. And so hopefully we will continue putting out content that you like, and the channel will continue to grow. I know you've sent messages saying you'd like to see more Canada Post things from some of you, and I will do that in the future. Right now with health and safety, I'm just putting that on the back burner for right now. And it is winter outside, so I don't want to shoot a lot of content that might take me outside to shoot, as it's awful cold on the hands. So for now, let's talk about today's topic, which is stamp tilting. Have any of you heard of it before? If you have, leave me some comments, see what you know. See if I've missed anything when we get to the end of the video. Normally when you put a stamp on, you put it in the upper right hand corner. There's a nice Canadian stamp, an older one here, $2 stamp. You put it in the upper right hand corner of your envelope, and that's where it gets canceled. If you put it anywhere else on the envelope, the machine is not going to cancel it. That is the traditional way of sending a stamp. Now, if you tilt it slightly, 45-degree angle, or on the side, or upside down, it could mean something completely different to the person who is receiving it. That is what stamp tilting is all about, and this is what we're going to talk about today. This has primarily been used in the Victorian age. So before you had emails, before you could direct message, leave an Instagram note, whatever social media things that we have that gets information just like that, the person you want to get contact anywhere in the world can have information within seconds. In the past, it took months. So you really wanted to make sure that you wanted to send a message and the person got it. Well, in the early days, the person that received the message was the one that actually had to pay for it. So if you sent a card and you put on a stamp on it, and you put it this way, and if the person knew what that meant, that was an answer, maybe a yes or no to a question, they could just refuse to pay for the envelope, send it back, and they already got the message. So that was a sneaky way of getting around the postal system and having to pay for postage. Now, as time went on, definitely during the Victorian age, if you wanted to send a message maybe to a secret lover that you had, or a mistress, or just someone that you were thinking about, but you didn't want everybody else in the household to know what was going on, because if you sent it on a card, the mailman might have read it, the mother or father who picked up the mail might have read it, the butler, whoever, whatever your station of life was, they could have read it long before you did. So things were a lot more prim and proper too. So what you wrote in your note, you probably kept just standard, but what you said in your stamp might be the real message that you were sending. So it could mean, I love you, thinking of you, don't write me anymore, I'm not free. If you had the code and you knew what the stamp was saying, that was the true message. It wasn't what was written on the card that was the message, it was what was being said with the stamp. That is stamp tilting. And during research, Danish people used it heavily, Swedish people used it in the early turn of the century, Victorian England used it a lot. So it was very primarily a European message sending things, and with the 2 world wars, it was sent that way. People that were incarcerated, if you wanted to send a message to someone in prison and you didn't want the warden or the jailers to know what was going on, you might send your message with a tilted stamp to tell them what you were thinking about. And as long as they knew the code on the other end, they could get the message. Now, another form, let me just get an envelope here. If you're a stamp collector and your stamp is on your envelope, in order to get it off, you would rip off the corner, you would soak it in a low thing of water, the adhesive would give way, the paper would peel away, and then you would dry the stamp and you would have your stamp. But before that, if you wanted the paper to survive, you would take it under your kettle that you would have on the stove that you were boiling for water or for dishes or tea, whatever you were doing, and you could steam away the back of your envelope. So it would let people read the mail, they could steam it away, read the contents, put it back in, and the adhesive would still be good. You could seal it back up again. Well, the same applied for the stamp. the stamp would peel away from the paper, and underneath you could write your message. So the paper wasn't ruined. You could write on the back side, depending on how big your stamp was, that was the amount of space you would have to write your message on the envelope to send a secret message. So that was done a lot, as well as a way to contact someone, send them a note that other people wouldn't know about. And if the stamp was still good, you could just stick it back on over the message, and then no one would be the wiser of what was there. So that is stamp tilting. That's what's been done in the past. We still don't do it today. You might send a letter now and tilt the stamp, and people are just going to think that you put it on incorrectly. But another way of sending the message using the stamps was the color of the paper that you sent it on, the style of ink. There's lots of ways of sending secret messages. So the stamp was an important part. Right now it still is an important part because it gets your message anywhere around the world for a fraction of the price of anything else. But you can double your messages if you use a coder and you say how you want your stamp to go and what it would mean. So stamp tilting is a useful thing to spread your love, to send your message secretly. It was done during the wars. It's been done to people in prison. It's done to unrequited, love. Many different ways the importance of using a stamp can send a message. So hopefully you found this interesting. I have been happy to research this, happy to spread the word of stamp tilting, and hopefully you'll send me more messages on whether you know anything more about the topic. You can write it to me. If there's other topics you want me to explore, we can do that too, because in exploration of this one, I did learn something else about stamps that I'll do a video on too, that has been good for the world. Let's just leave it at that for right now. But stay tuned to that video talking more about what the purpose of a stamp has meant to the world. So for now, stay safe. What, Polo? You say like, subscribe, share, and tell all your friends?
Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?